good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. This video, I'll discuss about who should be the playable protagonist for the next Hollow Knight game that will probably come out in, I'm predicting, 2033. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, or you'll be caught lacking badly to Hornet's fan art. Enjoy. Yes, I know. Silksong has only released a month ago, and I'm already talking about which character from the Hollow Knight series should be the next protagonist for Hollow Knight 3. Truth is, I want to hear your thoughts on the characters I suspect will be who we play as in the next game, and whether y'all would agree. I'll begin listing potential characters to be playable in Hollow Knight 3, regardless if the possibility is slim, and give out my thoughts on whether they'd work as a protagonist both gameplay and story-wise, as well as they'd be necessary to be playable. Let's begin. As cool as she may be, I don't think she'd work for the third game due to being a bit too tall, which is an important factor for gameplay, and we see her complete her main quest, which was to find her master. Now all Chakra does is defend Bilhart and other villages from void entities. What story can you make out of her? For the record, she's still a pleasant character in the game. No hate whatsoever. Look at the screen. Enough's been said. Plus, even if he was in his prime, if there was ever one to begin with, his gameplay would be exactly the same to Little Ghost, minus the void abilities. So as entertaining Zote may be, he ain't fit to be the protagonist for the third game. Ah yes, the character whose name is literally the title of the series. I don't think he should be playable in the next game. For one, he's way too tall. Secondly, even if he wasn't tall and he was still the same height as Little Ghost, wouldn't his abilities be vastly the same to Little Ghost's? Even down to the personality and design? Just the different backstory? What I love about playing Hornet in Silksong is that playing her wasn't the same as playing Little Ghost. So that's what I want for the third game. I want the playable character to have their own gimmicks that separates them from Little Ghost and Hornet. Not gonna lie, I'd love to ring my little bells and sing to local folks as I travel through new territories. That will definitely be different from previous playable characters, gameplay-wise, but in a good way. However, unfortunately, I have to say no. I don't want to see Sharma get hurt by mean bugs, alright? Can you blame me? Lots of people want to see him get his own game, and I do see the appeal. He's an explorer with interesting lore, so for story alone, he'd be enjoyable to play as. But for gameplay, I see him only having simple needle attacks with no spells or special gimmicks except for maybe some special nail arts that we've yet to seen before. For that, I wouldn't want him to be the playable character for the third game. For a boss, however, I'd be down. Though she is dead, the game could still be a prequel game taking place during the time she trains Hornet, and we play as her in her prime. The potential moveset revolving bees, honey, and royalty would be incredible. She may be a little too tall to be playable, but perhaps Team Cherry can find a way to get around that issue by having her travel to the Land of Giants, where we fight bigger bugs that make Vespa look tiny. Either way, I'd love to see her be the protagonist for Hollow Knight 3. Or rightfully a boss we face in Silksong by playing a Nidalin near a fragment of hers. So we, as Hornet, can face our master in her prime and best her. Before you question why a vendor from Dirtmouth should be a main protagonist for Hollow Knight 3, I must remind y'all that before she settled for this peaceful life with her husband Cornfur, she was a fierce warrior who says it herself mentally when we dream nail her, and that she'd go back to her old roots again sometime. Though she was suggesting not permanently, just a bit to stretch her legs. I get she may be a bit too big to be playable, but doesn't change the fact that Team Chair can try incorporating a way to step around that problem. Out of every character in this list and beyond, I truly think she's the one who we'll play as in Hollow Knight 3. Because here's the thing. In the first game, we use Void abilities. In the second game, we use Silk abilities. It would only make sense to play a character who inhabits both Silk and Void abilities in her arsenal. To add on that, she has the perfect height and weapon. If you have a sharp eye, her role here is similar to Hornet's back in the first game, where she'd appear multiple times as a boss, stronger after each encounter. Maybe Team Chair will continue that pattern by having Lace be the main protagonist in Hollow Knight 3, which I'm really keen to see happen. Alright, I'm done. Have a great day or night. Take care.